So we're going road dogging, and like for the first time, it's looking like I might spend a winter in a place without winter. And I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Because I really do believe that the suckiness of winter is good for people, I think. Like, summer's too good to have all the time. But especially, like, and it's not true now in a world of Netflix and garbage, but, like, winter forced you to sit inside without distractions. Back in the olden days, like, can you imagine what a Chicago winter would have been like even in, like, 1930? Like, at least by then, like, you had, like, access to books and stuff. And probably radio. But man, that's not that long ago. You know, 100 years, 1920 to 2020, like, winter would have been really rough before that time period. Like, because all winter, all there would have been to do is sit around in your cabin alone, thinking about how you were accidentally weird with some women in your village that summer. But then, like, of course, only to see them again next summer and they've completely forgotten who you are. It's not hard to imagine why the northern countries were the ones who really needed Catholicism. Because they were the people locked in their homes all winter, just thinking about how weird they were, about how things weren't how they wanted them to be. Like, I could understand how that would be a really depressive, sad time, especially if you were, like, socially isolated. But, you'd have to sit in your cabin alone. So, the reason that I think Catholicism came up with the way it did was because the first thing a religion has to do is, like, accept the feelings of the people it's being marketed to. You have to meet them where they are. Like, you can't. Okay, so if I just read through it, maybe it'll become more clear. Because they told the people that they really needed a religion to acknowledge the thoughts of the people at the time. Like, if you have, like, a group of people who's sitting in their cabin all winter thinking about how big of a piece of shit they are, you have to make that part of your religion. You have to bring that up to them. You have to say, yes, you are a piece of shit. You know it, I know it, but we can save you. We can work through how big of a piece of shit you are. We both know that you spend all night in your cabin thinking about how you fucked things up last summer. We do too. Cindy told me one of my sermons was really good, and I didn't realize she was hitting on me until it was too late. I spent all winter thinking about that. But I figured out ways that help. First, you have to admit that you are a dumb, bad motherfucker. The saddest bastard that ever was, and then I can help. We figured some stuff out, but first, we have to accept that we were born fucked up, and that is accepted. Some guy got killed in Israel because he kept flipping over their tables when they're trying to sell stolen, overpriced garbage in the temples. He knows that you're fucked up. In fact, it's all he does all day is watch you and the stupid, awkward stuff that you do all day. He gets it. He was a person who was fucked up also. You won't be punished for it because it's not your fault that you're really dumb. We will forgive you that one because you are dumb to the point that it's unfixable. So we will just accept it. We're not thrilled about it, but the stupidity of you people is terminal. And you spend all night thinking about how you know it's true. We can't fix how you are, and you and I both know it. I hope this follows. The other thing that we found out that helps is coming to talk to me about all the stupid shit you did. And I don't want to punish you people, but you and I both know that you deserve it. So I'm going to make you sit and count these beads, and then maybe you'll be able to think about something other than how big of a piece of shit you are. Count these beads, say a positive thing over and over, and eventually you will start to think about how to fix how messed up you are. You tell me how stupid you were, and I tell you how many beads to count to fix how stupid you are. The praying of the rosary is usually enough time to forget about how you jerked off in an inappropriate place once. Or whatever lie you told me in the case of that being the truth. You jerk off alone in that cabin and stuff gets weird sometimes after. Shame. You jerk off and you feel shame and you have to stop it if you want to stop feeling that way. Keep doing it if you want, but you have to fucking stop coming in here and tell me about it. Find a girl and marry her because we aren't going to be able to deal with messy women's reproductive rights until about 400 years after science is invented. And then we have another 1,000 years until we come up with birth control. So you need to marry her. You two are going to fuck and you're going to have kids, and then you have to raise those kids together because I don't want to have to raise them. Just because you two are programmed to do gross stuff on each other. We accept it. You are both dumb, gross pieces of shit, and you know it. You spend all night thinking about gross shit when you aren't thinking about dumb shit. I know it because I do it too. But if you do what I can tell you to do, we can make you feel less gross. And it's still not great, but it feels better than leaving the girl after you get her pregnant. That feels gross. I know, Cardinal. So don't do it. That's all this is. We figured out ways that could make you feel shitty less. And so I've been doing a lot of these stand-up shows. And it's just, I don't know, to say that like it's smart to be anti-God now is just the most hack thing in history. George Carlin covered all this shit 40 years ago. And it was edgy then. And now it's just, you're repeating what he said in a shitty way. In a shitty, not funny way. Because everyone agrees with you. Like when he said it, he was poking the bear. Like people realize now in retrospect that the power of the Catholic Church was failing. But what he was doing was dangerous. What you are doing is hack and stupid, and it shows a misunderstanding of history. I don't know. I just, when you start talking about it, I know what you're going to say next, and it bores the absolute shit out of me. Like, I understand why we're in such like a anti-God-ish place now. It makes sense to me. Like, if I put my phone down for like 2 minutes, I start thinking about how big of a piece of shit I am. But I don't need God because I have my phone. I don't need God because I have Netflix. And like, if you don't sit around like being able to think about how big of a piece of shit you are, you could never come up with ways to address that. We're kind of a society now whose God has become like the distraction of the masses.